Jeff, Zach, thanks for joining me.
Hey
Hi,
Steve,
Steve.
thanks for asking.
Hey, good to have you guys. Realtor.com has come out with its hottest real estate markets, and they apparently all have something in common. Low prices, high inventory, which kind of makes sense as we've been talking an ongoing theme about the problem with housing affordability and people having to rent instead of buy. But apparently, there are still some markets where you can buy, and you don't need to necessarily be ponying up seven figures or even high sixes to do it. Some of the places on the list: Springfield, Massachusetts, Kalamazoo in Michigan, um, Manchester, Nansha area of New Hampshire. I probably butchered that. Sorry about that for your folks. Let me see. We got Greater Milwaukee area, Akron, Ohio, and then Canton, Ohio. Um, so some of you guys' thoughts in terms of what's popping up as really hot housing markets right now.
Well, the new nickname Steve the Butcher aside, I think that there is we talked about this in another video that we've done. Affordability is a big thing. Interest rates are higher than they've been in a very long time. Cost of owning has gone so high that it's become impractical for most people. If you want to own a house, you got to find an area where you can buy a house where metrics make sense, interest rate lines up with what you're getting, leaves you money left over to take care of the things you want to take care of. And you're talking about two things in these areas. One, you have the supply with the right kind of pricing and lifestyle. But two, you have, if I'm not mistaken, a few of the areas you mentioned have some businesses and business friendly policies that are coming into the area that are spurring economic development too. So you've got kind of a bit of migration. But that affordability side for my dollars, that's what I'm betting on.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe say it a little differently, only because I think what we touched on is there's people who can move because they have the money to move, and there's people who can't move because they don't have the money to move, and there's people that have to move, and they're going to move to a place where there's inventory and markets that provide for it. Now, to be fair, when I'm reading through this list, I actually every single one of them, being a Florida boy, sounds really cold as hell to me, and I don't want to be in any of them. So. I mean, hell, it's like 60 degrees outside and I'm wearing a vest. So I'm not moving somewhere where it snows all the time. You get lake effect. So
Well, I think if you start coming up with deals in the West Palm Beach or Miami area, people will take you up on them, for
if they're
sure.
affordable, right?
Yeah, exactly. Same deal with where I'm sitting in Silicon Valley. Great climate, but not exactly affordable. What jumps out at me is all the things you guys are capturing about affordability, business friendly. The other thing I would toss in with some of these areas is the reshoring, the bringing back of manufacturing to the U.S. So I think some of these areas, particularly when you start looking at what was called the Rust Belt, as we're starting to see increased activity, we're starting to see some manufacturing come back to the States. These areas go from not just being affordable, but affordable areas with some real dynamism and some real future and some real potential to them also. So, I think that plays just as important of a role as the affordability here. That not just business friendly, but they're doing more business. And that has been a trend that seems to be picking up some steam of bringing some manufacturing back to the U.S.
That's a good point. I actually kind of wonder though, because it was there for so long, if it doesn't end up, kind of getting out of that area some and moving to other areas, where it's not as cold, where it has less, has less problems with having to deal with unions, et cetera. So wonder, we'll see what happens.
Well, I was going to say, look at what's not on the list. You didn't mention a single area in Texas or in the Southwest
Yeah.
uh, that has good climate, that is business friendly, but has affordability problems and oversupply from being overbuilt. Nothing in Florida's on there, or the Carolinas, which is a bit of a shock. So, it's possible there is um, the dynamism that you said from reshoring manufacturing to areas that were traditionally manufacturing areas. There's affordability as well because all the people that left in the areas that I just mentioned, not on the list, all those houses are sitting there. People are dropping prices to sell them. So now you got people that are coming in and they're getting better bargains and there's reason for people to be there again. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to kind of follow and see if the trend reverses, if there's a reverse migration out of some of the areas that saw the positive momentum for the last probably decade or so.
Well, I think I'm kind of going to your point that you're kind of getting the twofer in these areas of really good affordability and also some of the uptick. Yeah, and what's also not on the list is like Illinois, where it's not business friendly. Chicago, where, outside of, I mean, where, it's not so business friendly. I would look at like Ohio is much more business friendly. So, I think you're kind of getting a mix of both in these areas, or these particular areas that are growing, um, where they are getting some positive demographics, some positive economic growth. And then they also have kind of much higher affordability than other areas. And to be fair to, Texas and the Sun Belt, they're posting really good numbers. Also, but some of that may be coming in the way of rentals too. Whereas these areas are just so cheap you can buy. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
Good point.
Hey guys, thanks for the insights. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. Drop us a comment, let us know what we're missing, or what you think we should be talking about. Visit our website, selectfincap.com. Get on our free newsletter list and get updates on the real estate market as well as future exclusive investment opportunities, maybe in some hyper affordable markets, maybe in some growing markets, definitely not in unaffordable sliding markets. We're going to avoid those ones. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve.